welcome. Again, you heard me lecture over the past hour. My name's Andy, and I go into companies and businesses and small family offices, and I do a lot of emotional intelligence consulting with teams. And so emotional intelligence consulting is about interpersonal dynamics. It's about personal dynamics, the relationship that you have with yourself and how that shows up. Because who wants to be really happy at your workplace? Yeah. Who wants to be really miserable at your workplace? Cool, no one. Yeah, it's obvious. So the thing is that if we can come back to that moment right there where I said who wants to be happy and you all raised your hands, remember that. Next time anything happens at work where you're just a little bit most upset, remember that everyone here wants to be happy. We all have the same goal. We all have the same goal. We want to work together. We want to make things work. We want to share these beautiful fabrics with the entire world. I mean, that's why you work here. You could work anywhere. You could deliver pizza. You could be an Uber driver. I mean, whatever you could do, right? But you're here. So allow your life to be led by purpose, that what you've chosen to do in your profession is something that excites you. And if it doesn't excite you, then go to your boss and say, hey, like, there's some parts of my job that aren't exciting me. There's a thing called genius zone. Do you know what that is? Your genius zone is when you're lit up and it's like you're doing all these accounts and you love it because you love numbers, and then at the end of this spreadsheet, you're like, yes, it all equaled out. Does anyone have that? Yeah? Okay, I don't know. That's not me. That's you guys. I'm not like that at all. But that's your genius zone. You know that you're doing something that lights you up, and it should always light you up. Yeah, I mean, not every day it's going to be brilliant, but you should feel like you're working in a way where you're good at what you're doing. And if you're not, how can you be honest about that? And that doesn't mean you're going to lose your job. That just means that maybe it's time to go to your bosses and say, hey, look, I'm really good at XYZ. I really enjoy XYZ. And I find that I'm also having to do a lot of ABC, and that it's not helpful for the company. Yeah, because I'm getting distracted. I'm going on Facebook and I'm doing all these things. And that's you just being really honest with yourself. It's not that you've done anything wrong. This is not a conversation about good and bad. You're a good employee, you're a bad employee. You're doing things that you should and shouldn't. Not at all. It's about why are you doing those things? Is it because you're not getting enough of your genius zone work and you're having a lot of tasks that you're not good at? And because you're not good at them, it makes Isha stressed or whatever. And no one wins. You know, she's stressed. You feel like you can't serve, right? And it's just like, okay, that's not working. Right? Talk to Ankit. Do whatever you need to make whatever's not working work. And know that, like, I know these guys. I've known them for years. And they have hearts of gold, and they're willing to hear whatever it is that you bring forth. Know that you're invited, to bring forth anything that's not working. And it's not like it has to be a complaint. Like, I don't like this. As employees, we can never come with a complaint. We have to always come with a solution. I don't like this, and I think maybe this would be better. What do you think? Is there another way? How can we come back to that collaborative spirit of understanding that, yeah, we all want to be happy here, right? And maybe that means that you want to have lemon cucumber water. So as an employee, even though it's not your responsibility, maybe one day a week you bring in lemon and cucumber and put it in the water, and then everyone's like, oh, that's so sweet, thank you. Something super, super simple like that. What do you want your office culture to be? Do you want to have a dance party every morning at 9:45 a.m.? Yeah? Whatever it is, you guys decide that. And what I really love is when you don't wait for a top-down directive of how things are going to be. Because Masilo is a fast-growing company. There's not two of you working anymore. There's many of you. And so how do you start to take ownership of this company and create the work culture that you want to live in? Do you understand that? Yeah. It's so important. And it's like a give and take. Ask for permission. Is this okay if I do this? Ask for permission from your colleagues around you, and just be mindful of your whole space. If you wear really strong smelling perfume, that might be amazing for you, but for the person down the desk, right, it might be really torturesome. And so everything you do, how can you become more mindful of the effect that it has in your working life, as well as the people around you? All right? Take a deep breath with me. Some of you didn't do it, so let's do it again.
I did it.
Let's do it again. your whole nervous system. If you can do that like 10 times, then you go from a stressed state of flight or fight, where you cannot think clearly because you're trying to survive, that's the sympathetic nervous system, to a state of clarity, of being able to see whatever the issue is with all of your smarts, to come to it, to fix whatever problem is at hand. And so that breath is your tool, it's your superpower. And it's really simple. So I want you to make a contract with me right now, if you feel comfortable, if you're willing, to give that to each other. Right? When you feel, because you know how you feel, how she down the desk from you is like, she's tapping her foot, she's doing her pen, she's biting her nails, right? There's something, there's that deadline that's there, right? Just kind of put your hand on her arm or her shoulder and take that deep breath. Because you don't need to pander into the story and say, oh, what's wrong? Oh, that's so sad. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, yes. Right? That's not helping anyone. Yeah? And you don't need to say, no, just do it, just do it, forget about it. Right? Our emotional self is as much real a part of our work as is our mental, our intellectual self. And if we have control over our emotional self through that breath, then we have a lot of power through how our intellectual self is about and allowed to come through. Yeah? Another big thing, which is super simple, and we talked about it in the baby lecture this past hour, is pooping and hydration. They are super important. So like look around the room and say to someone right now, I poop. Go, do it. Especially intergender. I poop. Go, do it. Do it. Go. All of you at the same time. Do it at the same time. It's less awkward.
I poop.
Make eye contact with someone and do it.
I poop.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do you feel better? Yeah? Alrighty, so things like this, so pooping is just an easy one. I had a big career in pooping, so so it's easy. But things like that are taboo, that you don't talk about, or like Isha's stressed, she's running around stressed. When you make those things that are taboo less taboo, then the place becomes love instead of fear. Do you understand? That's the number one biggest switch in any workplace culture that you could ever have, is to change it from fear about what if I'm not good enough, what if I'm not performing, oh, someone's going to get angry, what if, right? To love. That it's okay, whatever you do, if you show up from that place of calm, centered focus, with your breath, knowing why you're doing what you're doing, being aware of your perfume or whatever it is, effect on someone else, and you can be really there and present, that's when you have power to come together collaboratively as a team and do things that no one ever thought possible. And I'm guessing that you want to do big things. Yeah. That's why you're working in a startup. Yeah. And so come back to that place of, remember, everyone wants to be happy. Remember, everyone poops. Remember, everyone can take a deep breath. And remember that we're here to do big things. And if you remind yourself of that, every time there's a little paper cut that comes, right? We come back to that presence, then you can do anything together. Do you have any specific questions or any pain points, anything that it's like, oh, I don't know what to do when this happens at work? Or sometimes this person who will go unnamed does this. Is there anything that's coming up for you? So what I would advise to you guys is to create some kind of ritual, and I would really love if it were kind of grassroots and from you. It doesn't have to be from top down, because this is your office. These are your everydays. This is where you're spending your time. What do you want? What do you want more of? What do you love? Right? How do you want to transform this place? Whether it's a diffuser, whether it's that dance party, whether it's high fives. All the time, because we just released dopamine. It's very American. It's one of my only American heritage things that I bring on. But we just had a dopamine shot release in both of our brains. So we literally got happier. You see that?
Yeah.
So what is it? So I'm going to give you homework. Can I give you homework? I know, you have a job. You don't need homework. But I want you to go home and write a list of 10 things, and you can give it to them tomorrow, that you want to integrate into the workplace culture. Yeah? And that can be like saying good morning to everyone. That can be that you're going to bring in the lemon water. It can be that you make jokes about pooping so that you feel more comfortable to poop in the office, because I promise it will make you so much more productive. It can be about going to lunch together. It can be about having a silent day. You know, because sometimes we have emotional things that come up, but society expects us to be happy and whatever, and really inside we want to scream and cry. And so you wear a little thing that says, "Today I'm silent," and you don't have any responsibility to talk to anyone all day. If it's work things, you can write and talk to them in text or whatever. But that you don't have to. You don't have to engage, even though you work in this kind of environment. So like think of all of the possible problems that you've ever had in any other job or this one. Think about all the ways in which you would want to feel and how amazing work could be, and put that into some kind of 10 things that either you do or you want from the office, 10 things that you want to create in your environment, and bring it in tomorrow, and we'll see where we go from there. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah? Any questions? That was a very vague assignment, but I trust that whatever you do is right. Yeah, tell me.
You know, being like a fresh graduate, and you said like this genius zone thing, you don't really know what the genius zone is.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah.
So like,
Brilliant.
that's kind
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So you become a scientist. Instead of just doing things without thinking, am I good at this? Do things and reflect, okay, that was really easy for me. Have you heard of flow state? Yeah, flow state is when your mind stops thinking and you just do and you're going. It's like the most professional athletes are in flow state. They're not thinking about, okay, I have to dribble and dribble and dribble and go. It's just intuitive. It's inside of them. Yeah, see where you are in flow state. If it's at that spreadsheet, which so many of you were excited about, or if it's in making social media posts or whatever it is, experiment with lots of different things. And learn from each other. Each one of you has a different job, and you have a different job for a reason, because you come with different expertise. And so how can you start to learn from the other people here? And rather than your lunch conversation being about the latest TV show or Netflix or whatever, have your lunch conversation be about the potential of how a company works, or how a startup grows, or about, you know, the resurgence in Orissa of organic cotton, or whatever it is, you know? Does that make sense? Experiment. Get out there and get hungry.
Our usual lunch
Topic is, tell me.
Yeah, it's a mix of both what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
And there's times where you need to just laugh and be silly and not have anything to
and
do with
feel
work.
happy when we are all having lunch together.
Yeah, totally. And also, I think that you need to also have times where you have lunch alone. Right? You are in an office with people all day, every day, and to just be able to have your own quiet time and space is also really necessary. And so realize that, and also notice that it's important to include people. If there's some kind of pattern, if you ever see anyone left out, like you're a family here, and the best offices and teams are families, because you're spending all day, every day with each other. And so how do you lift each other up, and rather than saying, oh, she's so bad at that, or it makes my job harder because of that, say, hey, like, is this your genius zone, or what's not connecting here? And the best thing that you could ever do is learn how to have awkward conversations. Yeah? Who knows, like, give me an example of an awkward conversation you didn't want to have once in a workplace scenario. Anything? Yeah?
We share everything.
We
talk
There's
about
no awkward
everything.
anything, nothing.
Nothing.
You guys are perfect.
Yeah.
Almost talk about everything.
Everything.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I feel like if it was awkward then, it's still awkward.
Okay, so we can diffuse it now, though. But that's the thing. It's like how you have an awkward conversation is maybe it's an interpersonal thing, because we're not meant to get along with everyone. So certain people will hate me just because I'm me. Like, that doesn't make me wrong. That doesn't make them right. That doesn't make me bad or them good. You know, it's just energies at mix, and sometimes they don't mix so well. And so if maybe we don't mix so well. So I sit down with you and I say, hi, what's your name? Varsha, Varsha, would you be willing to talk to me for like 10 minutes for something that's really difficult for me to talk about? No? Did she say no? Will you say Yeah? Yeah? Okay, so I have her consent. So how to have difficult conversations, okay? Number one, you go and you get consent. You say, would you be willing to? Everyone say that. Would you be willing?
Would you be willing?
Okay? Would you be willing to? So it's not will you, it's not expecting anything, it's would you be willing to? Alright? Sit down and give a time frame. Maybe you're in a safe space where you know you won't be interrupted. Okay? So set and setting is really important. Consent, set and setting, time frame, 10 minutes. Yeah? And then be vulnerable to have a conversation that's really difficult for me to have. So that she doesn't feel like she's on attack. Like, what have I done wrong? Have you ever felt that? What have I done wrong?
Yeah.
Like you were called into the principal's office at school? I get this all the time. In our adult life, this comes up. So I tell her, like, she hasn't done anything wrong. I say, because I'm vulnerable, I say something that's very difficult for me to talk about. So she's prepared. She knows a little bit what's going on. We have the safety, the set and the setting, the consent. So we sit down. She's agreed. She's consented. So we're safe. And I say, Varsha, sometimes I feel like I know that I'm really crazy and loud because that's who I am. So I'm owning my own thing. I'm taking my responsibility, super important. And I see that you're not often loud and crazy. And I think, I'm wondering, maybe, always go with curiosity. This is your secret ingredient, curiosity for everything. I'm wondering if my loud craziness makes you uncomfortable sometimes, and I just want to let you know that it's okay if it does. Okay. How do you feel right now?
I'm blank.
So essentially, that person's going to feel pretty powerful. They're going to feel empowered because you just come with your heart open. You see? It's not like conflict isn't about coming with daggers and fighting more, because then everyone dies. Right? It's about ripping your own heart open and saying, okay, like, this is my experience of it. Whatever happens with you is okay, and I just want to talk about it. Because just like turning to your neighbor and saying, I poo. If we can talk about what's not being talked about in an office setting, all of a sudden, like, we all feel so much more comfortable and free to be. And it's from that place of freedom that we're super productive and can build an incredible, incredible team, company, and transformation of baby products for the entire